All good. Todd, shaky 5 minutes. After that, I thought you worked your way on top of the game, and then the second half you completely dominated it. You would have been pretty happy.
Yeah, disappointing first 5 or 6 minutes. I think they maybe kicked 3 to nothing. So it was a fair start to give them. But I thought even probably the second half of the first quarter, I thought our boys started to fight back a bit. And then it was, again, it was an even performance. I thought we had some good players, but I thought most blokes weighed in and did their job. Especially after we were sort of 2 down early in the second half.
You haven't been able to break a game open in the last 2 weeks. What changed in the last, probably 3 quarters really, in that game where you were able to get more of your attacking game going and then take your chances going forward? Maybe that's the only difference in the end. You took your chances when you did go forward.
Yeah, look, the last couple of weeks have been probably real scraps with lots of numbers around the ball, and especially probably the West Perth one's really gusty. It was hard to move the ball, but I thought we took our chances, kicked straight, which is obviously important, but we probably got our chances in better spots. But yeah, it was like pretty even performance. There was no one goal kicker. The midfielders shared, backs were pretty even, and the forwards shared the load as well.
How big of a second half was it from Zach Strom, Jimmy Miller, but probably your midfielders as well, to make sure without Brock there that you didn't lose anything from that? You were able to still keep playing the way you were and maybe even play a bit better just as your confidence started to grow.
Yeah, look, our midfield are pretty experienced. We probably think we go pretty deep, where we've got a fair few that can go through there. We've probably worked pretty hard the last 2 or 3 years, especially, of getting guys that can play multiple positions, so that if things don't work, that we can change and it doesn't totally disrupt them. They can still impact. So there was a fair bit of shuffling around today, obviously after Higgins went off, and then Dent got hurt as well. So we're pretty lucky. Zach Strom, can sort of play anywhere. And Jimmy's been a really good pick up for us in terms of his ability to go into the ruck and help us and play forward and help Mace out as well. So I thought as you said, after the first sort of 10-12 minutes, I thought we're pretty consistent.
You talk about Zach Strom. He literally can play any position on the ground, and I think now that Jimmy's been able to play that second tall forward role, that's freed him up to not have to do that, where you've been able to use him on the wing at times, and I think that's probably where he was playing you can correct me, in the first half, and he was getting a lot of the footy. He was really effective in that role. We know he can go back if he has to. He can play forward, he can play in the ruck. He's pretty handy.
Well, there's no doubt. I think Jimmy coming in and being able to play his roles along with Mace is probably, it's freed up Zach a bit. It's pretty hard to play key forward and second ruck all the time. But yeah, Zach's probably, he's played forward, he's played wing, he's played ruck, and he can play everywhere. So, he's in good form at the moment, and when you're like that, you got to, keep the ball rolling as long as you can.
100-plus game player, and this is the first time I think we've talked about him this year, but he's probably just about in career best form.
Yeah, he's had some really good patches of play probably every year, to be honest. And that's probably because he does everything right. He trains really hard, selfless. He does whatever role we ask him, and his teammates, love him. So we all do. So yeah, look, he's been a really strong contributor, but we've had some pretty consistent boys that have been able to stand up. We've had some boys that have obviously missed footy. Dragger missed today. Shloithy and Maney have missed a game as well. Donaldson's missed a game, but the guys have been able to come in and play their role. So hopefully we can get them all up and going.
Your captain, he's usually a pretty reserved character, but he looked extra fired up today. And did you get a sense, even during the week or leading up to this game, that he really wanted his team to make a statement today? Did you get that sense from him, or did that just happen once the game sort of got underway?
I didn't sense it much, to be honest. We didn't make any special mention of this week or who we were playing or anything like that. It was about an opportunity to win another game. We think if you win 6, it'll be pretty hard to miss a double chance, and that's what we're sort of chasing, winning 6 as quick as we can. So halfway through we've got 4, we're pretty happy with that. But we got a chance next week to obviously add another one. So we'll recover really well and prepare to beat Swannies, who I think have been pretty unlucky in their first couple of games. They've been in games and haven't been far off. So, that'll be a tough battle for us.
To play a whole half of a game down one man, and when that means you're ruckman, and then the whole last quarter without, or quarter and a half probably went once Zach Dent went down as well, probably along with Ben, your best attacking defender. Does that make it even more pleasing to get a win like that, where you completely ran over the top of them while you were down men?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we've had a few the last few years where we've been down man before half time. So I think last year in the derby against East Fremantle, I think we were 3 down by half time and ran that game out really well. And it's a good trait to have. They're obviously pretty resilient and keep running and keep shuffling themselves around to get heat around the ball. So we're really proud of their effort today. Against a really strong club. To start poorly and then, grind their way back in and then run the game out really well.
Is it too early to have much of an update on Brock and Zach?
Zach looks like it's a reasonably serious ankle. We're not sure, so he'll get some scans. And Brock was pretty tight and felt like if he continued that it probably wouldn't be great long term. So, but until Monday, we probably won't really have a clear idea.
Lost Jacob Dragovic as well, one of your best ball winners. Should he be back next week?
We think so. We've that's been our sort of mantra all the way through. Take no chances. We'd rather miss one than miss multiple. So we certainly erred on the side of caution with him and Trav Abbott, to be honest. So hopefully they'll be able to train next week and put their hand up.
It might be natural subconsciously to have a look at, like you said before, Swans' record that they haven't won a game, and maybe take it a little bit lightly. You don't mean to, but it's human nature potentially after a big game like this. But like you said, they're struggling to score, but they're very hard to beat. They make themselves hard to beat. They're pretty tough at the contest, and they play a pretty good brand of footy. How do you make sure you don't have a drop off from this week and you come out just as fired up next week as you did this week?
Well, hopefully we come out a bit more fired up than we did this week because it wasn't a great start, but. We had a quick chat after the game, and the boys were pretty resilient and already looking ahead. So we've got some young blokes in, but we have got some experience in there too. So I thought our leaders after quarter time really led the way really well today, and they'll drive us for next week. Swans move the ball pretty quick, got some speed. They've also got some options. Ruckman's in. Great nick, and they've got some good key forwards, good key backs. So, they've shown some really good glimpses, really quick ball movements. So we'll have to be on our game. Good luck. Thank you.